Hi students, welcome to print journalism class. Today we are going to discuss lecture 9. It's about developing a news story, issues and angles. In the last class, we already studied how to write a breaking news story using the inverted pyramid structure. There we learned how to arrange the information as per the decreasing order of importance and how to frame the news based on that. So today we will look at ways you can develop a news story beyond the first day report, as in the case of that breaking stories, and the best ways of writing follow-up story. These are some of the alternative ways of writing news story beyond the inverted pyramid. We just think, why should the reader read a story which they already know? So to attract such a audience, such a readers who already informed of these kind of events, we have to adopt a different strategy. We need to encourage the covering of important news in non-traditional ways that engage and inspire readers by following different writing styles and approaches. So when we thinking about writing or before writing, the reporter must have a structure and shape of the story in mind, just like an architect have a plan before constructing a house. This writing style is developed by Roy Peter Clark, one of the faculty member at the Poynter Institute, one of the world famous journalism research and training institute in the world, in the year 1983. He noticed that reporters were beginning to tell stories combining the traditional inverted pyramid structure with the narrative, a chronological narrative style. He said this kind of writing style respects traditional news values, considers the needs of the reader, takes advantage of narrative, and spurs the writer to new levels of reporting. So he called this new style of reporting hourglass and said it can be divided into three parts. So here is a diagrammatic presentation of the hourglass pattern. You can see that it has three parts. At the top, you can see the top its lead, and the middle what we call the transition or turn, and the bottom part is for narratives. So it's a combination of both the inverted pyramid and narrative structure. In the figure itself, you can notice that the top part, you can see the image of a inverted pyramid structure, which then develops into a narrative structure, a flat, what is a pyramid shape, and both joined or combined together with a small paragraph, what we called a transition or turn at the middle. So in this figure itself, you can see that the top part use the inverted pyramid structure, where we arrange the information as per the decreasing order of importance, giving the summary lead, backup, and an overview of the news. And sometimes we may you attribute some of the quotes. And the bottom part, a chronological narration of retelling the story. Means chronological narration means something like a storytelling, a narrative storytelling pattern we use at the bottom. So at the top, the beginning few paragraphs, we begin with a summary lead followed by 3 or 4 paragraphs that answer the reader's most pressing informations. So in the top, the intro part, we give the basic news, enough to satisfy a time-pressed reader, answering the important W's, explaining, in a straight, simple way, just like what we studied in the inverted pyramid structure. The same pattern we follow, same style of inverted pyramid writing we follow at the first few paragraphs. The advantage of this is, the readers who are very busy can get the essence of the story or the summary of the story quickly. Then at the middle is called the turn or transition, that the shrinking area of that, the middle of that picture, where we give a small paragraph, maybe few words or one or two sentences maximum, that shows a signal that we are changing to a narrative structure. So the words or the phrases we use normally is something like according to police, or neighbors gave the following descriptions, etc. And at the bottom, as I told you, we follow a chronological writing style. We retell the story as if it is happened, something like a storytelling, chronological storytelling pattern. So, as I told you just before, the hourglass is divided into three parts: the top, the turn, and the bottom, the narrative. At the top, we follow the inverted pyramid structure. The beginning, the first paragraph or the lead will be summary lead or summary intro. Along with that, 3 or 4 paragraphs, we use the same inverted pyramid structure that answer the reader's most important questions. What is it? Studied the 5 W's and H. And at the middle, the turn. Here you signal the reader that a narrative is beginning. You give a clue to the readers that we are shifting, we are changing to a different writing style. So that paragraph, that turn, the transition paragraph, we use such kind of wordings like according to police or neighbors gave the following description, etc. The bottom, here we use a different writing scale, totally entirely different from that of the top. Here we chronologically explaining. Chronologically means as it is happening, as per the order as it is happen. So a chronological narrative we follow, which have a beginning, a middle and end. It is something like a storytelling method. So the bottom of the hourglass allows the writer to tell a chronological narrative complete with a detailed dialogue, background information. So all that drama or all that details, there will be quotations, there will be lots of background information. So something like a story, it it explains in the bottom part where we use the narrative style. So the hourglass form summarizes the news, then shift to a narrative. Means the top delivers the news, the turn acts as a transition or a shift in paragraph, and the narrative tells the story at the bottom. Now, when to use the hourglass pattern? It can be used in all kinds of stories: crime stories, business stories, government stories, or even to report the routine meetings of organizations. But it is best suited for such kind of dramatic stories that can be told in a chronological fashion. Something like a police story or courtroom dramas. For example, suppose just assume that police caught some thieves after a long chase and a fight. So it is a hard news the police caught the thief while the robbers, they're trying to rob some shops. So we write the beginning paragraph or beginning few paragraph, we write as an inverted pyramid structure. After that, just a transitional paragraph, something like according to police, it was something like a thriller movie. Police explains the situation as. So that is the transitional paragraph. And after that, the last few paragraphs, we again chronologically retelling something like a story, like as if the police is saying the story. Just like we were, it was around 2 o'clock at midnight. We were as part of our regular routine patrolling. By the time when we saw some persons, a few, maybe three or four people were trying to hide behind some area. So we approached, when we approached, they tried to run away. We chased them. In that way, something like a story, it unfolds at the bottom. So that the advantage is that the readers, they get the nutshell, the summary at the beginning. If they are further interested, they can read the remaining paragraph so as to get all the dramatic moment of that news. So what are the reasons for using the hourglass pattern? Or what are the advantages of using this writing style? The first and most important is the important news is presented high in the story. Means since we follow the inverted pyramid at the top, where we use the most important information using a summary lead, we summarize the most important information in the first paragraph itself and arrange the other informations, answering the other information as per the decreasing order of importance. So first few paragraphs we use inverted pyramid, the most important information will be presented high in the story or at the top of the story itself, so that the readers get a chance to quickly gets the chance to understand the content. Second advantage is the writer can take advantage of narrative structure. Means the writers, the reporters can explain the story something like a storytelling way at the bottom of the story. Third advantage is it is important information is repeated in the narrative so the readers have a chance to absorb it. So at the top we summarize the content, summarize the information, answering the important W's, and in the bottom part, in the narrative area, where we retell the story so that even though some of the information are repeating, from the reader's perspective, they will get a chance to understand it more clearly. Fourth advantage is, unlike the top-heavy inverted pyramid, the hourglass has a balanced structure. In the inverted pyramid, we know that we arrange the information as per the decreasing order of importance, where we give all the most important, most relevant informations at the intro or the first paragraph itself, and we arrange as per the decreasing order. Means at the bottom of that inverted pyramid it will be less or least important. Means that the top will be with what is a packed with the heavy content. Whereas here in the hourglass pattern, as you can see in that picture itself, at the bottom we again retelling the story again so that that structure is a balanced one. And the last reason, justification for using hourglass is it keeps readers in the story and leads up to a real conclusion. So in the examination, if the question is what are the reasons for using the hourglass, or what are the advantages or justifications for in the hourglass, you have to write these 5 points. So according to Roy Peter Clark, the hourglass is a natural way to tell a story. You blurt means quickly tell the more important information right away, and then someone says, "Oh, that was fascinating. How did it happen?" I've seen it on an interesting range of stories, including governmental meetings. I think the hourglass opens up the reporter to a level of reporting that the pyramid sometimes discourages. So he says that hourglass pattern is mostly better than or more interesting or entertaining than the rigid inverted pyramid structure. Here is an example of hourglass pattern, a story. So just read the story. A woman will appear in court today after causing a crash that flung her 3-year-old daughter from the car. The woman was driving a Ford Mondeo when it hit a signpost in Muscat just after 7 p.m. on Saturday. The little girl is recovering in the Royal Hospital where she is understood to be a stable condition. The mother was arrested. So up to here, we follow the inverted pyramid. You can see at the beginning, the first paragraph. We follow, it's a summary lead. Then after we arrange the information just like an inverted pyramid. Then the transition paragraph, at the middle you can see, police say the accident happened on a quiet residential street in Coram Heights. So the word police say, that is that sentence is the transitional word or sentence in this story. After that, the last few lines where we follow that in narrative writing style, like the neighbors here. It's something like you can see that something like a storytelling way it narrates. Neighbors heard a car swerve. Swerve means suddenly changing or what I say turning. So neighbors heard a car swerve and saw the driver struggling with the steering wheel as the vehicle skidded into signpost. The force of the crash threw the girl through the open window. She landed head first on the pavement and suffered a serious gash to the back of her head. Serious gash means serious deep wound to the back of her head. So here you can see the first few paragraphs follows inverted pyramid, then a sentence which follows the what we call the transitional paragraph. That is, the police say the accident happened on a quiet residential street in Coram Heights. After that, it turns to a narrative style. So these are all about the hourglass pattern. And if you want more examples, more details about hourglass pattern, just by visiting the website pointer.org, you will get more details on that. Thank you.